right, some help right now for anyone who wishes that he or she could have a professional decorator come in your home right now and redo a room or two or all of it. Guess what? You can learn a lot from the folks that you see on TV, especially HGTV. And one of the stars of HGTV is here. It's Libby Langdon. And boy, she does more than just host this show, big or small space, big style. You're an actress. You're a professional interior decorator. You've done you're an author. I don't know how you have time to do all that you've done.
I don't sleep a lot, but I really enjoy what I do, so it all works out.
And you know, we can tell from the second you walked in, you've been here for about 45 minutes, you've been smiling the whole time, so we love having you by here. Okay,
great.
We also want to pick your brain, because one thing that I have learned the older I get is the less I know about decorating.
I'm sure that's not true.
And why is it so difficult for some people, whereas others just, it's, you know, it's
You know what? Some
nature.
people do just have a knack for it, and they can visualize things, and they really know what they want. And then other people just need a little more help, a little more shepherding.
Okay, and you're going to shepherd us today.
Exactly.
Let's start with one of your mantras. You say, think contrast rather than matchy-matchy, and we have a picture, I believe, to illustrate that.
Yes, this is a great example of contrast. There's a dark, rich gray on the wall, but you lighten that up by putting a lighter, brighter headboard in front of it. If everything sort of matches, it can all be, people say, oh, well, I have a tan rug, I have a tan sofa, I have a tan... That gets a little blah. You really want to think in terms of light and dark and combining those, and that's going to give you a punch. That's really, really going to give you a little zip to your space.
And I think that that bedroom is so serene.
It is, and a lot of people think, oh, gray, it's kind of cold. It's really not. It's about balancing light and dark.
Okay, I see that. I got that. I don't know if I can mimic it or not, but I will certainly try. Another thing we want to show, a before shot, and that has to do with windows. I think that can be the trickiest thing, is not knowing what to put on top of them.
Absolutely. And you know, a secret that interior designers know is to hang your drapes all the way up to the ceiling. Visually, what that does, it draws your eye upward, and it makes the ceiling seem higher. Sometimes people feel like, oh, we've got to hang the drapes just where the window is, but if you let the drapes stack on the wall on either side, it's just going to make it feel much larger in there. But you do want drapes to really soften the lines of windows.
How do you pick colors for drapes?
You know what? I prefer neutral drapes, and I would rather put color on the wall.
Okay.
It's going to allow you to sort of change up and have a little more fun.
Okay, and earlier you were talking about matchy-matchy, and here is another tip from you that deals with that. You say don't buy furniture in sets.
Don't buy
But I thought that's what we're supposed to do.
No. That when you buy furniture in sets, everything can look very sort of staid. Like, you know, you buy a bedroom suite where you have the bed and the nightstands and the dresser. You really want to mix it up. That's going to give you more of a designed look. Whereas sometimes it can just feel a little stiff, almost like a furniture showroom.
Okay.
You really want to have a little more fun. If they're nightstands that you love, pair them with a bed that you love. It's going to give you more of an eclectic mix and make it more interesting.
Okay, wow, that's really going to change the way I decorate my home. Okay, you were talking about where to put color on walls. A lot of times people do it with their furniture. You say, take a look at your walls. We've got a beach-themed room here.
Absolutely. Keep your furniture neutral and get your color up on your walls. It's going to, sometimes people are scared to put color on their walls, and they say, oh, but I'm going to buy a blue sofa. Well, you're putting an awful lot of pressure on your furniture to let that bring the color in. Paint is inexpensive, it's easy to change, and once you have more neutral furniture, color on the walls, it's really going to give you that wonderful look that you want.
And then if you decide, hey, next year I don't want the beach theme, you can change it just by changing your paint.
Absolutely.
Another thing that you recommend is to mix textures and surfaces for a high style look. So how do you know what textures to mix? What do you
know
mean by
what?
that?
It's a combination of things. You want to mix silk, suede, seagrass, wood, glass, things like that are going to add dimension to your space. If you have all wood furniture in your room, it can just feel a little stiff.
Okay.
So mixing that is going to just make it visually much more interesting.
So if you have a lot of wood, throw in a glass piece
Absolutely.
too? Or something that's got granite on it? Or?
Absolutely. Mix it up. That is going to just give you, you know, more of a punch in your space.
And another thing you recommend is to think in threes. What do you mean by that when it comes to design?
This is the craziest thing. But when you're styling or you're arranging things on a table or a mantle, think in terms of threes. 3 vases, 3 candlesticks. For some reason, 2 is not enough and 4 is too much. 3 is just right.
And we see what you mean right here with this picture. 3 different vases. Should they all be the same size or always different sizes?
No, different sizes, varying heights can make it much more sort of interesting to look at. But for some reason, things in threes, they just work really, really well.
Okay, talking to you, I have a little more confidence that maybe I can change how my home looks just by implementing some of the tips that you have here for us.
There are easy things you can do.
Well, thank you so much for coming by. I know you've got projects going on in Austin and Dallas, so whenever you're back in San Antonio, come by. We'll have you back here on San Antonio Living. Now, if you want to learn more about Libby, you can. She's got a website right there. Read her bio. You'll understand what I mean. I don't know how this lady ever sleeps. You can also find out more about her show. Again, it's Small Space, Big Style on HGTV. Go to hgtv.com. All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming by. And we've got a lot more, so keep it right here.